All right. Guillermo Rigondeaux is going to be back against Solis, fighting for the WBA regular championship on the undercard of the Gary Russell Jr. fight. I am super excited. Unfortunately, it will not be to correct a terrible wrong that was inflicted upon Guillermo Rigondeaux. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, I want to say special thank you to everybody that supports on the Patreon, everybody that supports on the live streams Monday through Friday, and OG Boxing Talk on Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, also, thank you so much to the people that joined in the members last month. We had a lot of new members last month. If you're not joined the channel as a member, I invite you to do so. You can click down there. Okay, man, this is my favorite fighter, man. Guillermo Rigondeaux, my favorite little man. I'll put it that way. I've got a lot of fighters I really like. Guillermo Rigondeaux, though, man, is somebody I've been cheering for a long time because I don't know of anybody that has been done more wrong in the sport of boxing in the last, this century, put it that way, this century, more than Guillermo Rigondeaux has. Guillermo Rigondeaux is the best 100, basically he's the best little man. He's the best little man that there's been since the year 2000. I mean, in my opinion, he's only lost one fight, and that one fight that he lost was 2 weight classes up against Vasily Lomachenko. But other than that, man, this dude was dominating, breaking jaws. But you know, he had something really, really wrong with him, something that really held him back in his career, and that was that Bob Arum didn't like him. He was signed with Top Rank. Bob Arum didn't like his style. HBO didn't like his style. And they tried to crap on the man every way that they could. I think that Bob Arum's matchmakers got something wrong because they had this guy named Nonito Donaire who was going to be the next Manny Pacquiao, the guy that they were building up. Nonito Donaire was knockout puncher, the Filipino Flash, was going to get in there, was going to beat Guillermo Rigondeaux. Guillermo got in there and beat the brakes off of Nonito. Beat the brakes off of the bigger man. Easy fight. Completely dominated the dude. Put the first L on Nonito Donaire's record. Bust that bubble. And, that's just some sin that he could not be forgiven for. Because they did not have any intention on trying to make a big star out of Guillermo Rigondeaux. They were going to make a star out of Nonito Donaire. Which, by the way, I think is very funny. Because I doubt very much that Guillermo Rigondeaux was ever given the credit that for beating Nonito Donaire when Nonito Donaire was undefeated that Monster Inoue's getting for barely skinning by a over the hill Nonito Donaire. But just figure this: Monster Inoue is, according to many people, a top 5 pound for pound fighter in the world, and that's what Nonito Donaire, and he barely got by Nonito Donaire. Guillermo Rigondeaux several years ago beat the brakes off of Nonito Donaire and didn't get nearly that much credit. But that tells you the type of fighter that Guillermo Rigondeaux is. Guillermo Rigondeaux still should be the 122-pound WBA champion. He never lost his belt in the ring. It was taken from him because of complaints that took place from Jim Lampley of HBO. May it rest in torture. Rest in peace. May HBO rest in torture and pain. Okay? For what they did to Guillermo Rigondeaux that day. Guillermo Rigondeaux was fighting what was the name of the guy that took a dive? Can't remember his name off this. It'll come to me in a second. But Guillermo Rigondeaux was fighting this very tall 122 pounder, and Guillermo Rigondeaux was just clocking him at will. Hit the bell as the bell rang. A punch landed almost simultaneously with the bell, and Jim Lampley, and then Moise Flores, that's his name, Moise Flores fell out like he had been shot with a gun. Jim Lampley gets all kind of involved, starts demanding that they make this a no contest, or that they disqualify Guillermo Rigondeaux for having hit this guy after the bell. He insists on speaking to I think this was it the California State Athletic Commission? Basically, whoever it was, basically got all in the middle of the fight as if he was a member of, as if he wasn't an announcer just calling it on TV, right? Like, could you imagine in an NFL game that you have an announcer say, stop, hold up, we need to get that overturned, and they're the ones that get the flag, right? The coaches are the ones get the flag to overturn calls, but hold on, Fox News throws the flag. They ain't got anything to do with it. They're just televising it. But not in the world of boxing, apparently, because that's what Jim Lampley did to Guillermo Rigondeaux. And then Guillermo Rigondeaux's fight got turned into a no contest. Because it got called into a no contest, he was ordered to fight Luis Flores a second time. But because he was only making like $100,000 fighting Luis Flores, he took the Lomachenko fight that got like 5 times as much to fight Vasily Lomachenko. So when he fights Vasily Lomachenko, he loses to Vasily Lomachenko, but the WBA before the fight says, if you win, you have 24 hours or 2 days, some short amount of time to decide whether or not you're going to continue to fight for the 122-pound championship. But if you lose the 122-pound championship. So Guillermo Rigondeaux was forced to defend his 122-pound WBA belt at 130 pounds against Vasily Lomachenko. And he would have disappeared forever if it wasn't for Al Heyman and Al Heyman signing him and giving him these new fights that we get to see now. So now he's fighting for the WBA, but now he's actually moving down to his own weight class, which is 118 pounds, and to fight for the WBA regular belt. Now, this guy, I have not seen the guy that he's Solis. I've not seen him fight before, but I will tell you this. The last fight that Guillermo Rigondeaux had was against a guy named Seha, and people were like, man, he really didn't look good. He wound up getting a knockout stoppage against the guy, but he took a little more punishment that you're used to seeing Guillermo Rigondeaux take. Now, the win, though, actually wound up looking a little better, down the road, because Seha fought Brandon Figueroa and was giving Brandon Figueroa the business. He's just a very intense, on top of you type of guy. So it made the win for Guillermo Rigondeaux look a little better, because it was going to be kind of hard to stay away from Seha without taking a lot of energy, without burning a lot of energy, because the dude clearly has a great chin, and he just has a very, very strong engine. But Guillermo Rigondeaux took care of it. But I'm really happy with what the PBC has done with these Cuban fighters. Cuban fighters are like a class of fighters that do very, very well, but they tend to be very avoided, and they don't and I don't think that they really get the credit that they deserve. And a lot of the top fighters, like the champions, won't necessarily want to fight them because they're a bad style matchup. Like if you take, for example, Erislandy Lara. If Erislandy Lara had not been with the PBC and not signed with Al Heyman and worked with Ronnie Shields, man, that dude's career would have been a lot more difficult than it was, man. But because he has that southpaw style, and because he moves a lot, and definitely during the earlier part of his career was very hard to get a hand, very hard to get a hand on. I'm surprised that Canelo Alvarez, I guess Canelo Alvarez did that during the days where Canelo Alvarez is a little more brave, but like you look at like Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz couldn't get a fight for anything. Matter of fact, he would sign with guys like sign with Eddie Hearn, and then Eddie Hearn just threw him in the trash can. Would sign him to throw him in the trash can. Sign him to keep him away from Anthony Joshua and keep him away from Dillian White, But he comes to the PBC, he gets 2 shots against Deontay Wilder. You know, the second was a pay-per-view. I think he got like $7 million for the last fight. So I think he got 500, did he get like close to $1 million the first? And then in the second fight, he got like 7 million. So, I mean, shoot, man, he made really, really good money, man. And I hope the same thing can happen with Guillermo Rigondeaux. But the person that I would see him being able to fight, but you know they're going to keep away from him to the very last moment, is Monster Inoue. Because Monster Inoue is at 118 pounds, and I'm telling you right now, the problems that Monster Inoue had with Nonito Donaire, you can multiply them for Guillermo Rigondeaux. Because Guillermo Rigondeaux, if you're that easy to hit for Guillermo Rigondeaux, you're going to sleep. You saw that with Ceja, man. He crippled Ceja with that shot. Guillermo Rigondeaux is one of the hardest hitting little dudes you will ever see. A one-shot knockout puncher, man, from the southpaw stance, man, that could be really, really ugly. But anyway, you let me know what you think. I can't wait to see the fight. With that, I'm out. Peace.